They went through all the ritual, all the machinery, all the paraphernalia, but to what avail? And the Lord said unto Moses, you better go down, Moses, and go in a hurry. Get thee down. Wish you could read this in the original text. It's simply written in that sense. Get going, Moses, and move. No messing around. Get your jet and get out of here. This is the attitude. Right down the line. Get thee down. For thy people. Whose people? Moses' people. Thy people. Which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way, which I commanded them, that they have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto. Wherefore should the Egyptians speak and say, for mischief did he bring them out to slay them in the mountains, and to consume them from the face of the earth? Turn from thy fierce wrath, and repent of this evil against thy people. Remember Abraham, remember Isaac, remember Israel, thy servants to whom thou swearest by thine own self, and saidst unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven. And all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto thy seed, and they shall inherit it forever. And the Lord repented of the evil which he thought to do unto his people. Beautiful figure of speech, isn't it? Condescensio. Reminds me of a record in the book of Genesis. Remember, Lot and his wife and family had moved into Sodom and Gomorrah. But Sodom and Gomorrah got inside of Lot a little bit too much than the rest of the people. And because they broke God's laws, God said the whole city's going to blow. Going to go down. And because Lot was in that city, Abraham had a little talk with God. You can read it in the book of Genesis. It's real interesting. God said he's going to destroy the whole city. And Abraham said to him, Lord, really now, if there are 50 people left in that city, and this was a city of millions, if there are 50 people left, would you destroy the whole city for 50 people who love you? Lord said, no, Abraham, there are 50 left, I won't do her. Abraham had himself, I think, another pot of tea or something. And he comes back and he says, Lord, how about 45? And the Lord said, 45 won't destroy it. What he did after this, I haven't been able to figure out. Because if he had tea every time, he'd have been tea-logged. Because he goes back to the Lord and he says, Lord, if there are 40, would you spare the city? And the Lord said, if there are 40, I'll spare the city. Then Abraham goes to the Lord again and he says, Lord, how about 30? Lord said, if there are 30 people who believe, I'll save the city. Abraham thinks a little longer and he says, Lord, how about 20? It's quite a record. And the Lord said, if there are even 20, I'll spare it. Now, how much more time elapsed, I do not know, but finally Abraham gets up enough courage. Of all those oodles of people in those cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham says, Lord, if there are 10 righteous, would you spare the city? And the Lord said, I'll spare her for 10. There weren't even 10. Not even 10. Only 4 and 1 never made it out. So, you see, the man interceding, Moses interceding to God for that bunch of stiff-necked people that God had so miraculously taken out of Egypt. It is Moses, the man of God, who goes back to God and he said, Lord, you wouldn't do this. If you did that, the Egyptians would laugh, everybody else would laugh. Look at verse 19. And it came to pass, as soon as Moses came down from the mount, nigh unto the camp, that he, Moses, saw the calf, and dancing, golden calf, and the dancing around it, the worshiping of it. And Moses just loved them with all his heart, soul, mind, and strength. He bought them all a T-bone steak and said, look, I've given my life, I've done all of this for you, let's do some more of it. No, what's the word say? Moses' anger waxed what? Hot. He got hotter than a firecracker. He got madder than a little red hen in June when it's hot out, or August. He got real angry. Why? Because of what Satan was doing to God's people Israel. For, ladies and gentlemen, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That's right. And Moses' anger was kindled because the people had been taken in by the devil, and here they'd built themselves a golden calf to worship, when the true God who had led them out of Israel didn't get their worship. And he took the 2 tables of stone, the 10 commandments, he picked them up and he blacked down on the old floor with them, or cement or ground or something. And he broke the 10 commandments into smithereens. Then, verse 20, he took the calf which they, the people, had made, and he burnt it in the fire. And then he got himself a coffee grinder or a hammer mill or something, and he ground it into powder. Then he strawed it. He took it and threw it upon the water, and then he made the children of Israel go down there and drink the water. That's good for them. They got powdered gold water, golden powdered water or something. You see, when Moses was gone for 40 days, they could build her. But when Moses come back, when he came back, they couldn't do a thing. You know why? Because the man of God was back, and that man of God being back, he said, this is what the Word says, this is what it's going to be if I got to grind every golden calf to smithereens. It'll be done. No man laid a hand on old Moses. And when Moses said, get down there and drink, old Herman Boloco said, I won't. So he took his head and shoved him under for 3 minutes. He drank. You got to see these things in pictures in here of the greatness that God worked through this mighty man Moses. That's right. And Moses, verse 21, said unto Aaron, what did this people unto thee? What did these people do unto you, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? You see, Aaron allowing this thing to happen. Aaron gets the blame for allowing it to happen. Look at it. What did the people do unto thee, that thou hast brought so great a sin upon them? Because when Moses went up to the mount to get the 10 commandments, he left Aaron in charge. And the man in charge is responsible for the people. Old Aaron should have had himself killed before he'd have made those people that molten calf of gold. Old Aaron should have stood and said, you're not going to make it all unless you get over my dead body. But the people frightened him. They scared him, or they did something to him. And old Aaron gave in to what the people said. That's how they got the golden calf. And when Moses comes down, he talks right to his brother Aaron and said, Aaron, what'd you do here for? Isn't that something? And Aaron said, verse 22, let not the anger of my brother, my Lord, his brother, wax hot. Thou knowest the people. You know the people, Moses. You've been leading them. You know them. That they're set on mischief. You can't hardly keep them straight for 5 minutes. They're always wanting to jump the traces. For they said unto me, verse 23, make us gods which shall go before us. For as for this Moses, the man that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we know not what is become of him.